I mean, the harsh reality behind it is
We talk about it in the store. It's just I kind of want to almost think of something different to say.
Well, it's no offense, of course, but the Super Nintendo and the NES were better than the Sega Genesis.
Wow!
They were. I'm not saying the Sega Genesis is terrible,
Just
but
dagger and twist the blade.
Nintendo stuff has always been better than Sega stuff. I mean, I love the Dreamcast. I love the Sega Saturn. They're two of my favorite consoles, but the Super Nintendo is way better than those.
Man, you're waging war with some people.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people more people owned Nintendo stuff. Nintendo stuff, I think, left more of a lasting impression than Sega stuff did. And for people like me personally who owned both, I played the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo way more than I played the Sega Genesis. So it just way more lasting impression. And the only game I really ever played for the Genesis was Sonic, and I didn't even really like Sonic. Mm-hmm. So
for me, it's a couple things. Number one, and this is really strange, but we get a lot of people come in with the nostalgia of actually blowing on the cartridges, which I know you could do that with Sega Genesis, but then especially with Nintendo, finding that sweet spot of putting the cartridge in. Like everybody has their little method. Some people would hit like reset before they hit power for whatever reason. They did this under the shirt. I just felt like there's more stories of trying to get your Nintendo to work and people just having fun. Of course Mario, of course Zelda, and really only had Sonic for the Genesis. For me, the biggest reason why I gravitated towards Nintendo and Super Nintendo was not because of the games, but because of the controller. I've always hated the 3-button Genesis controller. Always have. They'll go the 6-button. That's not the fucking controller that it came with. It came with a 3-button one, man.
And the 6-button's a terrible controller, too.
If the 6-button was the size of the 3-button with just those buttons on top of it, it'd be good.
But it's also got the 6-button has that D-pad that is so hard on your thumb.
Yeah.
It's unusable.
Comes up a lot.
Oh, man.
But
it's so sharp.
But yeah, man, like for me it was the controller. I just had such a hard time, and people would always do the comparisons between the Street Fighter games and the Disney games and the Mortal Kombat games. It's like I'm not freaking playing Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat with only 3 buttons. It just doesn't work, and I'm not using start to switch between punches and kicks. It's bullshit. So I just think, I guess in a nicer way than what you said.
There's no nice way to say it.
Nintendo and Super Nintendo are better.